And welcome back to our weekly Icarus Patchnotes discussion. Although today is going to be more a reading out loud than a discussion, but anyway, we are at week 176 and we have some brick signs this week. 4 new brick signs to place and personalize, like gravestones basically. That's what it kind of reminds me about. So the new brick sign set can be edited like the current wooden version. Press and hold R to choose a variant from the radial, with 4 different variations to craft and place. So this week we are adding a brand new set of brick signs, 4 variants to craft, adorn and place around the base. Also got some insight for you into our development process after we had a perforce outage last week that impacted our development timelines. And finally, we have got some details on an ongoing feature development, a solo pause option, solo only, for obvious reasons, but a pause nonetheless for solo players. Anyway, this week, brick sign set. This week we are adding a new set of brick signs with 4 different variants for you to craft. These are unlocked at tier 3 and crafted on the advanced masonry bench, or the electric one obviously. 10 clay bricks, 2 concrete mix and 4 iron nails are required for each sign. Now clay is a Prometheus resource if you want clay on Styx and or Olympus, you'll have to buy it from the workshop. So the question is, do you want to spend your Ren just for a couple of signs? On the other hand, it might look very nice in your place. So at your own choice, you can get some clay from the workshop to make these clay brick signs. The 4 variants come in floor and wall options. The floor options and the wall options. With tall and angled variants for using different terrains and settings. Just like all other signs, these can be edited to display your own text or icons. You might have noticed in last week's patch notes that we also improved how signs appear in-game by removing the artificial glow and make them look less digital. For this, they updated the sign widget material to use decal domain, which allows to take on normals of a sign mesh, and it handles lighting better, removing emissive glow so they don't glow in the dark as much no more, making the signs look less digital and cohesive within the scene. And hey Echo, welcome.
Thank you. Hiya.
How you doing?
Uh, I'll catch up with that later. Let's just get through the patch notes.
Okay. Right, now a bit about the issues the team had in the past week with the Perforce program. So last week 2 Perforce crashes happened on 2 days in succession. Now, functionally this turned our 5-day work week into only 3 days for the normal weekly patch. Now Perforce is the source control system they use for Icarus, keeping the developers working in alignment on the code and assets required to make all the different versions of the game. Minimum each week is a new version. Historically, the Perforce instance has been running since June 2016. First Icarus code was committed in 2019. Now, since the first commits, the source control has grown to 6 terabytes of project data. They use Google Drive to keep all the full-size Icarus art assets, so the true scale of the project files is much more than just the 6 terabyte. The 6 terabyte is just a raw footprint of the source code and binary assets to build the game for distribution. with the latter accounting for the majority of the 6 terabyte, and then to serve the data effectively to developers and build servers bring along additional requirements. The reason any of this part of a blog post is because one of the servers experienced a blue screen of death recently and caused corruption in the Perforce database files. So basically the database where all the Icarus files are stored in and where they're working from. Bringing Perforce back up required multiple database reads, rebuilds and verifications. Last week 2 crashes happened on 2 days in succession, significantly affecting operations. As developers, we mitigated this by using the time to playtest on Steam, and in a few cases you got feature work in offline mode. So the developers have had a little bit more time to do some actual playing last week. Look at things from the bright side.
It's good to know they still play.
Oh yeah, the best way to run into issues and like they had these sessions before. I kind of forgot what they called it, but where they had been playing the game with like the whole team for like a week long, and then if they ran into issues, they could quickly look into them and fix them if and when possible.
Yeah, I remember that, but I can't remember what it's called either.
Now,
Excuse me.
hosting the 6 terabytes of critical data means a lot more than just a PC with a couple of SSDs. Huge failover batteries protect our whole office site, UPSs. Multiple high IO drives for RAID. I wonder which kind of RAID they're using, but that's the technician in me speaking. Spare drives, backups, and we need NVMe drives to push the architectural limits to serve this data fast over the local network to multiple people. Many things early in the morning can completely saturate the 10 gig uplink. Saturated 10 gig uplink. There's a lot of data being transferred in. I'm telling you.
Yeah, yeah. I wish I had a 10 gig uplink turn. I'm telling you.
Yeah, 1 gig uplink is already pretty big. Imagine a 10 gig uplink and then saturating your entire uplink. Wow.
Yeah. Oh my God, you could load a video yesterday.
Exactly. Project Clinic was what they were calling it when they were
Ah,
playing.
yeah, because they would analyze issues and
W-
diagnose problems.
Week 126, 140, and 141. Yeah, I keep track of all the patch notes.
I'd never have guessed.
Okay,
It's
let's
near like
continue.
it's near like you, Cornet. It really isn't it?
Yeah. Anyway, let's continue with the Perforce story.
Yeah, I'm
So,
gonna mute out for a minute.
yep. So, since we're covering our live data footprint, we should also mention that for backing up the data, we provision 20 terabyte of hard disk storage, so we can have daily backups, snapshots over time, and even some space left to take a full fresh backup on demand. We can't just have one backup, because one backup is none, then if your backup fails you still have nothing. You actually need a duplicate of your backup, so there's another 20 terabyte. Mirror that all again, as we must save it all in another form offsite, very important. So we must provision another 20 terabytes of cold archival storage in a data center, this in a geographical region outside of New Zealand. So you can see how just the 6 terabyte critical data for Icarus has quickly escalated to requiring 100 terabytes of provisioned storage for its stable existence.
Yeah,
Uh,
that quickly runs into the rule of three. You have your initial files, and you've got a backup, and you've got a backup of the backup.
and like you need at least one version offsite,
Yeah,
preferably a geographical different location. So in case of a geographical event, You still don't lose everything.
Yep.
So yeah, I know these rules. I'm a sysadmin myself for like 25 years. So yeah, I understand what you're talking about here.
Mhm.
Now, recently, rapid system halts and blue screen of deaths has caused data corruption in the Perforce database, to the point that Perforce is turned off for repair and the developers have to immediately adjust their work schedule. Now, one could wonder, what does the repairing of Perforce involve? Well, Perforce by design works and manages the files, versions, and a meta history for those through several dozen paired databases. When the system halts and those databases are open or being written, they break. And they break in ways that are very bad for productivity. Now, luckily, there are specific tools and commands that you can run as a check on the database file pairs. And we keep documented in our internal wiki the process. So you know if an error occurs, how to fix. Still, it is going to take quite a bit of time due to the sheer amount of data.
Yeah.
And I've worked with databases not as big as this one, but I've worked with databases crossing the 1 terabyte mark, and I know how time-consuming maintenance work can be on such a large database, let alone repairing corruptions.
Yeah. Well, I'm not computer savvy when it comes down to software like that, so it's all gobbledygook to me.
Yeah, for me it's like I don't know the software, but I do know the basics. So yeah,
Well, I don't even have the basics. So
I can definitely understand what you're talking about here. And
yeah.
mind you, I'm not even a database admin. I'm just a sysadmin. Still, I've worked with databases enough to definitely understand what they're talking about here. And
Yeah.
I've worked enough with people who know a lot about databases. Anyway, corrupt database. So fixing the corrupt Perforce instance has a few steps. First, you read in the entire database set. You try to identify all the corrupt files. Then you need to do a second pass to write out the new replacement databases identified from the last successful checkpoints. Now these new replacement databases are replicated in their directory, and then another different integrity check is run on all the databases. Now this step is very slow and can take several hours. Makes sense, the more data needs to be checked, the longer it takes.
Mhm.
Now, if everything does go well, there are no more corrupt database files, but if you do find another corruption in the check, you have to redo the whole process again and again and again until all corruptions are fixed. Now, ultimately, the Perforce service is returned to a working condition with developers and the build service now all synchronizing at the same time. Developers are happy again and continue to work unimpeded in Unreal, and the build service can finally go back to assembling builds, like experimental build, the production build and everything. So I'm glad they fixed the Perforce database issues before last night. So we actually had a new version today, an update today.
Mhm.
So, continuing. Coming soon, solo pause. We've been working on a new feature for solo play. It allows players to pause their session rather than the game continuing to run in the background. Now this is quite a large change and requires layers of experimentation and testing internally to iron out any bugs or issues that arise. For example, multiple mission chains have to be tested, as a pausing feature may impact the logic of the mission chains. Now at this point we are putting out early iterations of this change into the experimental branch, which gives us a much larger testing pool to catch any bugs or oversights that slip through the cracks. We will be ready to release this onto the main branch once we are comfortable it is a standard we are proud of. Quick note though, this will not work on multiplayer or on dedicated servers. This is due to the presence of other players and their own sessions, as well as the logic required to run a dedicated server. Like if you play in multiplayer and one player wants to pause, the others want to keep on playing, you have an issue. You can't just pause one player and let the rest go on. So you would need
No.
to pause the entire game. So imagine a griever who is constantly pausing the game for the entire server. Yeah, that ain't gonna be nice. So no pause in multiplayer. Also, you have to take into account the whole data sync issue. You know, if you play it local, you host on your local PC, you play solo, then you pause, you hibernate the game instantly.
Yeah.
You can't do that with multiplayer because this pause information has to be shared with other players and also on a dedicated server, since dedicated server is processing a lot of the calculations.
Mhm.
You can't, as a player, pause the game. Basically, if you play on a dedicated server, the host is considered the server is considered a host, and you as a player, even though you're the only player on the dedicated server, you're seen
You're
as
still classed
a
as a
client.
client.
Yep.
Yeah.
So unfortunate, no pause on dedicated server. Now people, especially if they play open world and they do bigger and bigger builds, they start using dedicated server because of performance issues. You know, how do you? This has to do with the whole fact that Unreal Engine 4 doesn't handle multi-threading properly, etc. The controlling thread, the master thread being overloaded, and etc. So a lot of people are switching to dedicated servers, so they will not be able to pause the game.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you're playing a multiplayer game and you're in there with your friends, I can't really see why you would join a multiplayer game just to want to pause it all the time.
Yep. Oops,
I mean,
there's someone at the door. I'm gonna pause the game so I can answer the door. Yeah, nice if you play solo, but if you play multi, good luck.
yeah, well, I mean, Carl, and I play multiplayer a lot, and it's never been an issue for us when one person wants to have a quick break, either whether it be for getting some juice or going for a bio break or a quick smoke break.
Yeah, but yeah,
we
if you're
accommodate the other players just due to the fact that
yeah,
that's what a team does. Do
yeah,
you know what I
you
mean?
you keep an eye out on the other player and keep him safe, etc. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's what being part of a team is
Yeah.
is is about. You
Or,
know?
or you kill the player who's AFK and then you loot the body, and then when he comes back, he's like, "Hey, why am I dead? Yeah, sorry, a bear came by and mauled you."
Yeah, and I just run like a bitch.
Like, yeah, all that thing. Where is my stuff gone? Yeah, sorry, the bear took it.
Yeah, yeah, you get eaten, buddy.
Yeah. But
You
yeah,
know?
for solo players, if they're in the game locally, I have seen positive signs from solo players already. Like, hey, finally, I can take a quick bio break without having to worry that when I come back, I'm mauled by a bear. Where
Yeah,
I'm
I don't.
like, yeah, make sure
I
you are
don't.
in the same place before you take a break, but okay. That's
Yeah,
what I do.
I don't have to try and hide inside a rock in order to assure myself that I'm safe and I'm not going to get eaten by a
Uh,
bear or a wolf or something like that just because I'm away from the console
yeah,
for
that's where you have
two or
your
three
beams for.
minutes. Yeah,
But yeah,
but even so, you know.
but yeah, coming soon. Pause for solo players, not for multiplayer and not for dedicated server. Next week, we're getting the chef's backpack.
Nice.
Next week, we're adding a new chef backpack for culinary arts specialist. This will allow prospectors to craft better foods with longer lasting buffs. Alongside a decrease in food consumption requirements, there's also a buff to water consumption, so you'll be able to last longer without 2 of 3 pillars of your prospector's well-being. The third one being oxygen.
Yeah.
Now, the chef backpack, as it stands right now, is both giving buffs to the wearer of the backpack, but also to food items. So wear the backpack when preparing food. Then this will add an additional buff to the food itself. So also players without this backpack are benefiting from this.
Yeah, so it doesn't just benefit the person who makes the food, it actually benefits the people who eat it.
Yeah, not for all foods though, but for quite a few. Here's a fun fact. If you wear this chef backpack and you craft the watermelon lollipop, it gives a buff to the effectiveness. The watermelon lollipop reduces the overencumbrance penalty by 50%, as does the Neve's pickaxe. Now, if you prepare the lollipop with the chef backpack, at this moment the overencumbrance penalty reduction is 62%. So,
Right. If
you
you
you eat a candy, the watermelon lollipop, you pick up the Neve's pickaxe, and then you get yourself overencumbered. Then you're 12% faster.
Yeah, because the Neve's pickaxe would make your
So the Neve's pickaxe reduces overcomes penalty reduction by 50%. The watermelon lollipop, the buffed variant, the buffed due to Chef Backpack, reduces it by 62%. So you'll have a 112% overcomes penalty reduction.
so it makes you 12% faster
Exactly.
than you were before you were over encumbered.
Exactly. So
Oh,
running over
nice.
encumbered is gonna have its positive sides. This might be
Oh,
patched out, but I mean, it's
it'll
in
be interesting to
experimental.
try that one out.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'd like to try that one out.
this is in experimental, and when I saw someone stating like the watermelon lollipops now has 62% overcomes penalty reduction, my first question to this guy, and I literally asked him in Discord, I was like, hey, what if you combine it with Anise? He had thought of it as well, and he said, yeah, you're gonna be faster.
Oh, nice.
Obviously,
So, so, in,
the devs might
so
very well cap the overcomers penalty reduction to 99%, like they've done with like speed builds and for resistance builds, etc., etc. But still, right now, it is working on the experimental branch.
yeah, take advantage of it whilst the advantage is still hot.
Kind of an unintended side effect, but I thought it's funny.
Oh, we're not going to complain about that until they fix it.
Exactly. And if they
Just hope
fix
they
it,
don't fix it.
if they do
Don't.
fix it, we're still not gonna complain, cause like, it's kind of exploity, but still.
Yeah. Hey, if the game is built that way, why not?
If the game allows it.
It's part of the game, exactly.
Exactly.
Sorry, I'm having real trouble with my voice today.
It's okay. So, continuing the patch notes, your support makes these updates possible. So feel free if you wanna support a team, and do go over to Steam and buy some of the DLCs, like the patch bundle, which gives you the creature comforts pack, which gives you more food and water troughs, a couple of extra saddles, amongst which the racing saddle I'm always using, 45% more speed. This is the pet companion pack as part of the pets bundle, which gives you extra variants of the dogs and the cats, and also gives you like actual horses. And there's the zebra rescue mission in Olympus. which is the only way to obtain zebras as a mount. The zebras, the only mounts who, to an extent, are resistant against heat, don't overheat as quickly. So they don't suffer the debuff in the desert and or volcanic. And they're
Yeah,
fun mounts.
because they're from the desert, aren't they?
Yeah.
So
Or if you really want to support the team, just go for the entire complete the set, which is checking which DLCs you don't have yet and is only adding these DLCs. Complete the set is a dynamic bundle basically. It checks what don't you
yeah,
have yet and is adding that. So
yeah,
this does include the Styx map, the Prometheus map, a whole line of outposts, the creature comforts pack, pet companions, zebra rescue mission, but also interior decorations pack, for example, which gives you the geode lamps, which is a very nice light source in game. It's a set and forget, no fuel or power needed. It gives you the paintings, and then you have like extra furniture sets, amongst which the Art Deco, which has the best light sources in game. Well, also the fancy schmancy Art Deco black marble gold furniture, which gives you the highest comfort buffs, and they look
which is
very
our
nice.
favorite.
Yeah, they look very nice.
Yeah, very smart.
Uh, but yeah, changelog is going to be short one because they lost a couple of days due to the whole perforce issues.
Yeah,
Basically, the new break signs. That's the new content. Couple of fixes. Beehive processing VFX to replicate on client. Translatable text has been added to the operations manager on the contact device, good for the non-English playing people.
mm-hmm.
Adding interact audio for when opening up a dead prospector's inventory. There's a training talent description. They fixed the spelling of the word juvenile. Taxidermy knife being called trophy knife. Apparently somewhere it was still called trophy knife. They changed this like ages and ages ago already from trophy knife. Initially it was called trophy knife, and then they ages ago changed it to taxidermy knife.
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
Yep. Fixing typo spelling of juvenile and talentry. I reckon it is the same as this one.
Yeah,
Then for the future content, working a lot on the Great Hunt missions. Correct ammo types to the dead bodies. The EDS ammo. That researchers now correctly hide items in their hands when looted. So you basically you loot the body, and the item you take from their inventory actually disappears from their hands. And the implementation of Swamp Ape Attractor. Oh, cool. But here I was thinking it had its own arena, but apparently not. You're gonna find him in the wild, or find him in the wild, or just have him come to you. I'd say with an attractor.
yeah, I'm gonna lure them in.
Um, Fix radar material on Swamp Ape Attractor not turning off when unpowered. Oh, it's gonna be
Yeah,
a radar
I can
variant.
see how that would be an issue.
Yeah.
You turn it off and they keep coming.
Yep.
That
Well,
reminds me of
you remove the yeah.
the crocodiles in Ring Lake.
Well, it's more like if you remove the power, it's not turning off. It's like this. You had this, for example, with some light sources. When you place them, they were on by default, and you didn't even need to connect them to the power network.
Yeah,
They fixed that a while ago already, and looks like this was kind of the same. Like you remove the power and it doesn't even turn off. And then indeed they will keep coming. Which might be slightly annoying.
Yeah.
Adding grouped dialog line in the data table basically fixes two dialogues. Let's see. First person strange troop mission rework. Move the location to the nearby cliff. Add Gargantuan Junior air spawn, where they no spawn from. Add poison cloud surrounding the area to encourage anti-poison pill usage. And stackable poison modifier. So definitely take your pills. Players must destroy the lair and any spawned junior apes to complete the mission. Let's see. Putting the ape lab door on its hinges on the wall so the players don't open it through the ground.
Yeah.
Visually it looks like the ape broke out through the bloody broken wall. Why is the wall bloody broken? Because the ape bloody broke out.
Yeah.
Language. I know.
Yeah, that's. Is it a bloody broken wall? As in,
The wall is bloody
gosh darn
broken.
it, it's bloody broken, or is it a broken wall
Th-
that's got blood all over it?
Let's assume it's the lair.
Yeah. Actually, believe it or not, that that word bloody is the only quote unquote swear word that is actually in the Bible. So it's not a swear word.
Is it used as a swear word then?
It depends on your take, really, doesn't it? It depends on the context of the thing.
Exactly. So the word itself might be in the Bible, meaning covered in blood, in that sense, but is it also in the Bible as a swear word? If you know the book chapter and verse, I can look it up, probably, but
Couldn't tell you, but it definitely brings a new meaning to the words bloody hell.
yep.
Anyway, moving on from the swearies, because we're a family-based channel.
Add
Well,
trophies
you're a
for the
family-based channel, sorry.
added trophies for the icy visit and the icy mammoth. Here we're gonna have new variants. Let's see. Temporarily adjusting mission talents to reroute instead of mutually exclusive to prevent missions from being blocked. Gonna do once fix is in place. So for the Great Hunt, you will have like paths to choose which are going to be mutually exclusive, as we have seen in previous patch notes. So either you get this effect in your open world or you get that effect. You can't have them both.
Yeah.
Um, let's see. Modifying talent system to now support different talent types, such as mutually exclusive selection, which is required for the Great Hunts. Setting up new mutually exclusive talent connectors for all the Great Hunt mission trees. Yeah, so working on a fix for that. Okay, let's see anything interesting. Potential fix for instant levels where everyone dies, leaves, and then terminates the server instance before save happens. So a potentially fix for which problem exactly I'm not sure about, but
But they potentially fixed it.
yep. But I'm wondering what kind of issue would arise here then.
Hmm.
If you resume the last player still standing and being hit by animals or whatever. No, because I don't think it'll respawn the enemies at that point as well. So this might be a cheesy method to avoid the situation where everyone dies.
Yeah, so if everyone dies and then you terminate the server instance immediately, then you have the potential for it to reload before everybody died.
Yeah, before the last person died at least, yeah. Huh. Yeah, that would be quite cheesy, I'd say.
Yeah.
And they're working a bit on the whole pause thing. And let's see. Ice Mammoth C3 mission. The mammoth can no longer be killed. It is tethered to its spawn location. Phase out after reaching arena location. And it freezes correctly if a player causes the tile to be unloaded. Okay, so this now has become an invincible mammoth. I want to tame it.
That does that not kind of defeat the purpose?
Unless you do not need to defeat this mammoth to do the mission.
Hmm. Okay.
Okay, let's
We
see.
have a New Zealand spelling mistake on the did a pass on spear equips to make all of them work subtly, and would
Subtly,
cause issues under different circumstances.
wouldn't,
Yeah.
wouldn't, woodland. I don't know.
Hmm. Somebody
Uh,
just trying to type too quick, I think.
yeah, fat finger syndrome.
Yeah.
Let's see. Pausing the audio when the game is paused for better indication of what's happened. Kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, you could keep the music playing, but definitely the game sound shouldn't continue playing, because like the game itself is frozen.
Yeah.
The APB mission updated to spawn a creature with the item instead of having the item already on the ground. So now you have to defeat a creature. Hey, you don't want to make it too easy after all.
No.
Yeah, those are basically the ones that jump out the most when skimming through the future content. Let's see, baby goat tweaks for baby apes no longer chase birdies, so they focus on the players. Okay, makes sense. But yeah, like I said, those were the patch notes. A bit shorter today due to the perforce issues they had. Still,
Yeah.
they did.
Perforce
Yeah.
malfunctions.
Still, they did give us an update with some new stuff. Even a couple of break signs, which we can try out on a Prometheus. So I'd say we take 12-ish minutes break, 10 minutes break, and then we go do some gameplay.
Yeah. Can we make it 15? I haven't eaten yet.
Nah, eating is overrated anyway. Hey, if you wanna stay slim, eat less. You know.
Yeah. Eat less,
That
move more.
I subscribe to the eat less part, not really, not so much to the move more part. Hey, how do you think I stay so slim? You know.
Okay.
But yeah, okay. Well, I will take a 15-minute break then, and then we will
Thank
be
you.
back with some more gameplay. So I hope you folks enjoyed watching us going through the patch notes. We do it so you don't have to. I hope you enjoyed it. Like I said, I appreciate you folks being here, and I hope I'll see you folks around.